I want to show a pretty simple yet incredibly powerful build for TvZ. Most of my games end in 10 minutes. This build works against Masters and GM players as well. You start off with 12 barracks and 13 gas. Get 2 marines and standard reactor hellions with the second CC. If you see an overlord nearby that can't be sniped, kill it off. Otherwise, move out with your marines to find a potential overlord or to get a drone kill. By doing this, you will most likely lose your marines, but you force a couple of lanes and these marines are useless anyways. Sometimes you don't lose them at all. Sometimes Zerg overreacts and gets like 10 lanes and a spine crawler. CC placement is up to discussion, but if he makes like 8 lanes early on, you'll be forced to cancel the CC on low ground and rebuild it inside of your base, which delays you by a lot. But this happens not so often, so it's up to you. This obviously delays the Zerg as well, but personally, lately I've been leaning towards in-base placement because it's much less hassle control-wise. This SCV that builds the factory should make a depot, preferably as a part of your low ground wall-off. This supply depot is very important to remember. With your first 2 hellions, you have to move out and kill off any lanes that on the map because they won't have speed. Then go towards the Zerg base just to see if there are any roaches approaching towards your base, so you'll have time to respond to this attack. If you see speedlings, back off and regroup all your hellions together. If you lose hellions just to speedlings, you won't have anything to attack with later on. Use Yumi's chart for run-bys. After 4 hellions you build a widow mine and a hellion. Then you produce hellions again. Rally all the stuff back home for now, don't blatantly give away a potential threat. After the supply depot, build a starport. From this starport you will need 1 medevac. Your widow mine should pop out just in time with your medevac. Load it up and drop the mine into any mineral line, doesn't matter which one. If you feel extra pro, you can save it after it fires. After your CC finishes, use 2 SCVs to make depots. You'll constantly lack minerals, so delay a hellion or 2 when necessary, but keep producing marines, medevacs and SCVs. If the Zerg has no 3rd base, it is potentially a 2 base ground attack or 2 base muta. It doesn't matter what it is exactly. In this case, get an earlier armory, engineering bay and a bunker. It also can be a nidus, so keep that in mind. If he does a ground-based attack, you just deflect it. Start widow mines and more bunkers if necessary. If you see no attack approaching, you attack with marines, hellbats and 1 medevac because he will have nothing. Half of the times I win the game right there. Kill off queens if possible. Focus spine crawlers if you face one. Against Zerglings, just group up. Against Baelings, obviously split. And by split, I mean split really hard because you are going to fight on creep. Use your medevac to drop 2 of your hellbats into a mineral line, doesn't matter which one. It doesn't require your attention at all, but try not to lose your medevac to a spore crawler. I mean, it can't move. Killing queens is super important because that means less larva or less creep spread. The best way to fend off this attack is having a lot of roaches. That's why it's better not to show that you have a lot of hellions early on, because roaches are good against hellions and hellbats as well. So if you attack and see a lot of roaches, you can try to take the fight and trade units for units, because his units are not drones. Or you can start dropping, but if you can't handle the control, prioritize macro back at home. Speaking of which, as you move out, start a tech lab on your starport and 2 more marines. After these 2 marines, you place this barracks onto the tech lab and start stem. Get 2 more barracks at the reactors you have. You also need 2 more gas, and the next step is your 3rd CC, 2 E-bays and 2 more barracks. After this point you play a standard macro game.